We've all heard the phrase, putting the cart before the horse. And in real estate, there's no exception there. We have a lot of sellers who want to sell a vision to a buyer. They don't want to actually go through the motions of putting finishing touches on their sale before they put it out there. So some examples of this would be selling a property as if land has already been split when it has not been. So I ran across a listing recently where the seller, in an imaginary way, split off the house on its acreage and split off some land from that property as a drawing, but never really went through the steps of having anything surveyed or having that new parcel split off from the parent parcel. So that's one example. Land splits, it's pretty common for people to have that vision but not want to pay for actually getting that split done before they sell. Another example would be one that I've come across as well multiple times, where someone has the potential to be zoned business, but their zoning is actually residential. And I've run into this quite a few times. So they want the buyer to catch the vision of what the property could be, but they don't want to invest any money into actually making it what it should be before they put it on the market. In those instances, I just like to tell people it's wonderful for you to have a vision for land being split off or zoning being changed, but in reality, it causes a lot of problems in the sale because what you think should be able to happen with a particular property may not be possible when you get right down to it. So in those types of situations, when we list properties with potential for what they could be versus what they actually are, we're loaded down, we're bogged down with contingencies in those situations. And sellers really can't guarantee to buyers that this ideal that they have in mind can actually work. So if you're selling a property and you want to sell it with land being split off, well, go ahead and get the land split off first. Then the buyer can come along and say, well, I'd like to have this piece, but I'd also like to have this parcel as well. And you're actually dealing with two different parcels that the buyer can actually buy, right? And if they want that land split to be there, they can leave it as existing at that point. And if they want it combined back into one legal description, they can do that as well. But selling that vision, kind of doing a leapfrog over reality and wanting someone to buy what you think should be able to happen, what the potential is in the property, is never a good idea. Ran into one situation like that where the property was out there listed as, a potential, and we got into doing the work, and there were some items that got missed when the land split was actually done that the title company didn't totally catch, and we wound up with a potential lawsuit at the end. So really, if you're talking land splits, the new parcel should actually be born and recognized as its own parcel with its own parcel ID before you ever put it out on the market to sell. The same thing with zoning. If you want to sell something as business, then go to your township, go to your county, and actually get that zoning changed before you put it out there as business. I know it costs more for sellers to have to do that, but in the long run, it saves you a lot of time and aggravation. And expecting your realtor to be at the forefront of that and to, take on the burden of doing that type of work for you is very unrealistic, and it exposes us to liability that we shouldn't otherwise have. So make sure all of your ducks are in a row before you put a property up for sale. Make sure the zoning's correct. Make sure that if it's a land split, it's truly done and you have a true parcel ID at the end of that you can really sell to someone without trouble, without extra absurd contingencies. Selling property is a daunting enough task sometimes without having to guess at what someone's thinking or put your heart and soul into something that you're buying only to find out it's not even possible to do that, whether it be zoning or whether it be land that's been split. So again, sellers, it's nice not to have to absorb the cost of doing something like that with your property fully until a gain is going to be realized, but it's not very realistic to do that, and it only causes more problems than it actually solves. So if you have questions about any type of land where you've got issues like this, where it does have potential to be something else, but it's not quite there, give me a call at 513-236-1254. You can feel free to private message me, and if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe. Thanks, bye.